Hi again, everyone. Do you enjoy a good dynasty? Because we have a couple of them going in North Dakota high school hockey right now. Thanks for tuning in to this week's North Dakota Varsity Sports Update. I'm Jody Norstedt. The Grand Forks Central Knights in the Bismarck Blizzard strike gold again. We'll break it all down with our Midco Sports Network intern Zach Hoffner. Plus, are you ready for March Madness? Because we have basketball tournaments going on all over the place. 8 teams are heading to Grand Forks this week for the Class B State Girls Basketball Tournament, and we'll preview every one of them and hear from several players and coaches too. Let's start on the ice though. The Bismarck Blizzard have been dominant for the past half decade in North Dakota girls hockey. A big piece to those championship puzzles was current Wisconsin Badger freshman Britta Curl. So there were a few questions whether the Blizzard would be able to keep their magical run going. Top seed Fargo North South did its job continuing its pursuit of perfection by reaching the championship game, and Bismarck did too, thanks to a pair of close victories over Minot and Fargo Davies. That set up a rematch of last year's state championship game. Here's our own Zach Hoffner with a recap.
In the girls' state championship, Fargo North South is looking to dethrone a dynasty. The Bismarck Blizzard are looking for their 5th straight championship, while Fargo North South looks for their first. In the first period, it's Blizzard goalie Skylar Ackerman keeping her team in it. She stops the breakaway and things get chippy. You can see early how much this means to both teams. Fargo North South outshot the Blizzard 7-2 in the first period, but we head into the second tied at 0.
It was definitely nerve-wracking, but I know I had to keep my head in it and keep going, and my team would pull through.
A little over 6 minutes into the third with the Blizzard on a power play, the scrum turns into 1. Madison Brown finds a loose puck in front of the net and buries it to give the Blizzard a 1-0 lead going into the third period.
You know, we talked to our girls, we really said we didn't really think this was going to end a 1-0 game, and we were right. You know, we figured they were going to come out hard.
And he was correct. North-South came out firing, once again outshooting the Blizzard 7-2 in the third. But Ackerman is a brick wall between the pipes. She finished the game with 18 saves on 19 shots. Desperation time now for North-South. With just 2:39 left in the game, Avery Myers gets the puck to the front of the net and the Blizzard defender lays on the puck. But there's a problem. That's a penalty. And that gives North-South a chance to tie it on a penalty shot.
I just knew that Riley fell right in front of me. I knew I couldn't do much. She just covered it. We had to get one.
Honestly, I didn't see it, but, you know, the officials explained it, and it's their, you know, that's the final call, and unfortunately it didn't go our way, but, you know, like I said, our girls found a way to battle through that, showed some resiliency.
So with 2:39 left in the game, the top scorer in the state, Abby Promisberger, has a chance to tie it, and it's ice in her veins. She goes bar down, and we're heading to overtime. Whew, that was clutch. In overtime, it doesn't take long. Just a minute 19 into the extra period when senior Kenley Anderson gets one on net and the freshman Cameron Schmidt hammers the rebound home. The Bismarck Blizzard, for the 5th consecutive season, are your girls' state champions. What an amazing finish to a great season from both teams.
I saw one of my teammates skating down the ice with the puck, and I practiced a lot and practiced to go to the net with your stick on the ice and be there for the rebound, and that's what I did, and I ended up going in. It feels good to be new on the team and to score the game-winning goal for the 5th championship in a row, and I've never been a part of a championship with the Blizzard, and I'm just so happy that we all won.
It's definitely a bittersweet feeling. I had the greatest team in front of me, the greatest coaching staff, and it was great just to go with the bang.
Yeah, I think I have a few more gray hairs, or at least I'm losing a few more. That was exciting, you know. Kind of strange turn of events there, but, you know, I'm proud of our girls the way we battled through it.
Pretty remarkable to see Bismarck win it again. Props to Skylar Ackerman. She was the starting goalie as an 8th grader when the Blizzard's dynasty began. She finished her career by being named tournament MVP. Now to the boys' side, Grand Forks Central entered the state tournament with a 68-game unbeaten streak against North Dakota opponents, including back-to-back state titles. The Knights blitzed Mandan 14-0 in the quarterfinal before winning a tight contest 3-2 over Bismarck to reach the championship. Meanwhile, it was Davies advancing on the other half of the bracket with convincing wins over Minot and Bismarck Century. Here's a recap of the championship game.
On the boys' side of things, Grand Forks Central seeking their 3rd straight championship, while Davies looks for the first in school history. The first period is tight. Both goalies doing what they can to set the tone. First, it's Jared Winter turning aside the wrister on the 2-on-1 break, and then it's Winter again sliding across the crease to make a big save, and he's not making it easy for the Knights. But Central's goalie, Aaron Nielsen, doing his job as well, thwarting one of Davies' best looks from the point as Tristan Donner lets one fly, and it's knotted at zeros heading into the second period.
The guys in front of me were outstanding. They did everything that I could ask them to do. They made the saves easy for me. They made my job easy. They helped me, and I can help them. That's all I can ask for.
In the second now, the Knights finally break through. Tucker Hodgson from the point, and Kyler Brisky gathers the bouncing puck and buries it. 1-0 Central heading into the third. Right out of the gate in the third period, it's the Knights on a power play.
That play was all Hunter Bjorgi. He took it around the net, and then he threw it out to the net, and somehow it made its way to me, and I had to finish it off.
On a broken down power play, basically, you get one to go in, but, we threw 50-some shots at him and, had a tough time getting them clean, so you keep it up, hopefully when you can get a kind of a greasy one like that to go in, and that's kind of what happened.
Loss and Body isn't finished yet. How about one more goal in the third for some insurance? It's Brandon Holt to Cole Wiggestrand, who finds Lawson Body, and he makes it 3-0 Knights. But the Eagles won't go away quietly. Cade Stibbe buries his fourth goal of the tournament, and it's 3-1 now. Unfortunately for Davies, that's how things would end. An incredible season for the Eagles falls one game short of a championship, and the Grand Forks Central Knights are your state champions for the third consecutive season.
The feeling can't be explained, There's things that you're never going to forget ever in your life, but I can't thank these guys enough for being here with me. I couldn't have done it without any one of them. I wouldn't trade them for the world.
It feels really good because we kind of add to the Central history tonight. And we've had a lot of guys come through the program and work their tails off to achieve their goal at the end of winning state championship.
They're all special in their own way, and this one's no different. Just as special as any of the other two that we've won here the last couple of years. So, just tickled for the kids.
Well, Zach joins us now to chat about the two newest state champions. Zach, let's talk about the team that we just heard from. Grand Forks Central, 3 consecutive state championships. They haven't lost to a North Dakota opponent in 71 straight games. You watched them several times this season. What sets them apart from everyone else?
I think the big difference with Grand Forks Central when you watch them play is just the pace that they're able to get the puck up the ice. They're able to get it from their defense to their forwards so quickly, which creates a lot of odd man breaks and a lot of good scoring chances. And when you're getting it up to the top 2 scorers in the state, Lucas Canta and Cole Hansen, it's definitely going to help. Those guys actually split tournament MVP and Senior Athlete of the Year award, with Hansen winning Senior Athlete and Canta winning the tournament MVP.
An embarrassment of riches for that program. Well, Davies had some adversity to face. Head coach Scott Peterson stepped down just before the region tournament. Dean Wilson comes over, takes over, and the team responds pretty well. Led by Arizona State commit Cade Stibbe, they showed some pretty good fight. And senior Jared Winter, heck, he made 49 saves for the Eagles in that game.
Yeah, they had a really great EDC and state tournament. They started playing well at the right time, and Cade Stibbe, obviously just a stud.
Yep.
He had 4 goals of his own in the state tournament. And to me, it was really interesting to see which way they went with goalie, because Witchick, the junior, was splitting a lot of time with Winter this season. And I think Dean saw that the experience of being there would actually help a lot. So I think that's why they went with Winter. And like you said, 49 saves in the state title. I think it was probably a good decision.
There you go. Tip of the cap to Dean Wilson for that call. As for the girls' side, Zach, Fargo North South had an exceptional year. Were you surprised that Bismarck was able to get them again for the championship victory?
I don't know if I'd say I was surprised. It's Bismarck's 5th straight title,
Yeah.
So that's probably not the right way. And both teams are just so good that I think they could play 10 times and probably go 5-5. So it's just kind of which way the puck was going to bounce. Yeah. But this year, with so much talent across from them in Fargo North South, I thought they had a really good chance, but Skylar Ackerman, 5-time state champ, it was tough to get him by her.
She is unbelievable. I rember seeing her as an 8th grader and be like, really, they're going to start an 8th grader in between the pipes? She wins a state championship that year and has been part of this whole run, which has been pretty insane. Fargo North South should have 5 of their top 6 scorers returning, though, but they do graduate 8 seniors, including goaltender Lauren Haar. Meanwhile, Bismarck graduates 3 of its top 5 scorers and starting goaltender. So it'll be interesting to see who the team to beat is next year, because Davies should be really good too.
Yeah, and I think the thing with girls hockey in general is just the depth across the state. You're starting to see a lot of closer games between the Devils Lakes and the Dickinsons and the Grand Forks really competing with the top schools. So it's going to be interesting to see which way it goes and how it plays out.
Well, it's Zach Hoffner, our man here on the scene, intern for Midco Sports Network. Thanks for joining us, Zach.
Thanks for having me, Jody.
Well, let's get to the next state tournament on the docket. The Class B girls basketball champion will be decided this weekend in Grand Forks. Here's a look at the bracket for what's going to take place at the Betty. The games begin Thursday with 2-seed Langdon-Edmore-Munich taking on Kindred, followed by Thompson against Shiloh Christian. Then we get top seed Kidder County taking on Rugby, with the winner of that facing the winner of Trenton and Hettinger-Scranton in the semifinals. So let's get to know these teams a bit better, starting with that first matchup. Langdon-Edmore-Munich is making its second consecutive trip to state, despite saying goodbye to 4 seniors from last year's team. Now, the Cardinals lost to Thompson by 3 points in the quarterfinal round last year before rallying to win the final 2 games for a 5th place finish. As for this year, they've won 20 consecutive, with their only loss to a North Dakota opponent coming in double overtime at Thompson. Confidence won't be an issue for Rob Scher's team. They just held the highest scoring team in the state, Four Winds Minnewacan, to 24 points below their average, and also forced 29 turnovers for the Indians in the region championship. The interesting part is that they don't have a senior on the roster. Callie Ronigan is a standout junior, averaging 18 points and 8 boards, while Caitlin Scher and freshman Morgan Frege also provide a lot of scoring punch. A promising roster led by underclassmen? That sounds a lot like the Langdon-Edmore-Munich football team that won the state title just a few months ago. Maybe these ladies will add to the trophy case. The challenge will be going up against another group of talented youngsters. Kindred is back at state for the 3rd straight year and has its sights set on adding a second championship in 3 years. Sam Brandt's pressure defense always wreaks havoc on opposing offenses, but so do the freshmen for the Vikings. Abby Dukeshire is averaging a remarkable 21.5 points per game to go with nearly 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Her classmate, Taryn Johnson, is also averaging double digits in the score column and pulling down 7+ rebounds. Add in sharpshooting junior Jordan Berner, who had 20 points herself in the Region 1 title victory, and this could be a very dangerous Vikings team. Young, but not necessarily inexperienced.
Very immature when it comes to, age, but basketball experience, they're heavy in basketball experience. So it's hard to balance a little bit, and sometimes you forget they're 14 years old. So our job, play your role, do what you do best, support your teammates, share it. Together's the only way, that's how we do it.
Well, I think that's also going to help because we've experienced the atmosphere. It's crazy. I mean, this is crazy. It's 10 times bigger than this. So I think just a little bit of experience and knowing your surrounding is just going to be helpful in the long run.
I mean, all of our hard work has paid off, and hopefully it shows at the end when we need it the best. We're going to have to stay locked in on defense, we're going to have to push on offense, and just stay solid all around.
To me, the opening game is the best matchup of the quarterfinal round. I could see either one of these teams winning it all. I think foul trouble could play a huge factor in this game with how much these teams like to pressure. Thompson is the favorite in quarterfinal number 2. Jason Bren has his team in the Elite 8 for the 6th time since 2010. The Tommies used a 16-0 run to come back and beat Grafton for the Region 2 crown. They forced the Spoilers into a ton of mistakes and capitalized, and that has been a trend for teams playing against the girls in green. Thompson has 5 players that average 7 or more points, so if you stop one player, that might not be enough. But make no mistake, they understand that their strength is discipline and determination when guarding the opposition.
All year, our biggest focus has been defense for sure. It's always been moving our feet, hands up. We got to be talking. It's just one of those things that we constantly work on. It's very repetitive. Sometimes it gets old, but in the end, it usually just tends to pay off for us.
Stopping each team is a little bit different. You got to have some different keys, but a few things that we like to do as a team is just great overall team defense. We communicate well and keep our hands up, and we got a lot of quickness and athleticism, which allows us to help and then recover quickly.
Now, a lot of these young ladies also played on the volleyball team that captured the state title earlier this year, so you can expect them to rely on that experience as well.
I mean, our state championship for volleyball really fuels us because we know the feeling and we know how great the feeling is when our hard work pays off. And I think just going into state, I think we can just use that mentality of how awesome it felt to win state in volleyball and just carry it forward again.
The Tommies' opponent, Shiloh Christian, hopes to keep the title in Region 5 for a second straight season. The Skyhawks edged Solon 57-52 to punch a ticket to state. Seniors Olivia Martin and Allison Bearstail headline a group that hopes to make a deep run after having a perfect season spoiled last year by eventual state champ Grant County in the region final. Daryl Bearstail's team might be more of a Cinderella than a favorite, but it's a group that seems to be rallying together at the perfect time.
We've had a young group playing a lot of basketball for us, and they've come a long way since the beginning of the season. They look like different players from that first couple of weeks of basketball. So we're looking a lot better.
We haven't really played together very long, so I think just our chemistry definitely was. We didn't really have any in the beginning, so we definitely had to overcome that and start to get more chemistry. And then I think our experience too, we didn't have a lot coming in, only having one returning starter. So a lot of people had to step up, and that was a big adversity for us.
We are very excited to go to the state tournament this year, and there's not a lot of pressure on us to win, so that just makes us work harder, and we just want to make the most of it.
I give the edge to Thompson in that matchup, but I think the X factor could be Shiloh's 6'2 sophomore, JC Hall. Look out for her. To the Kidder County rugby matchup, congrats to the Wolves on earning the #1 seed with a 24-0 record. Here's a nugget. They were also undefeated against North Dakota teams in summer ball, so head coach Dan Welder knew he had a good group. They graduated a standout and first-team All-State pick Grace Benz last year, but have been on a mission from the start of the season when they held Washburn to 14 total points in the season opener. The Wolves' up-tempo style has led to nearly 17 steals per game, so hold on to your popcorn at the Betty. Sophomore Madeline Schmidt headlines a trio of players that seem to score in double digits every night, so pick your poison when trying to defend the Wolves.
I think we all just work really well together, and we're really balanced, so that helps us a lot. It's not going to be just one person scoring all the points all night. I think it can be anyone on our team.
I saw it this summer. We were working hard, and I knew it was going to translate into a good, regular season, and it has. And I'm proud of the girls. And our goal was to make it to state, and we did that. So now our next goal is to win that first game in state.
We're going to have to get into our offense, and we're just going to have to really calm down because they're a team that has experience at the state tournament, but we haven't had anything like that. So we're just going to have to take a deep breath, get into our offense, and just play our game, and the rest of it will just come to us.
As Madeline mentioned, rugby is at state for the third time in 4 years, so that experience should help them, and so will the experience of playing in a tight game to win the region title. Remember, they beat Velva in an overtime thriller to reach state. Annie Steyer and Carson Hager might be the heart and soul of the Panthers, but sophomore post Brooke Blessum played a large role in getting rugby to state by scoring a game-high 19 points against the Aggies in that region final. The scoring has been inconsistent for the Panthers, but they know they have the athletes to compete with anyone.
We really have to focus on our defense. That's been our staple all season. It's always a big part of our team. We're really quick. We need to work on pushing the ball up the court, our transition, and then if that doesn't work, we just need to keep working the ball around.
We got to get back to basics. We got to get back to some offense. We got to start looking at some post, play a little bit. And we got to get our shots going here. We struggled a little bit tonight. We got on last half of the last game there against MLS, but we had some crucial shots.
Can rugby get over the hump and win a quarterfinal game for the first time? I think Kidder County is going to make that a tall order. Now the 4-5 matchup pits Trenton against Hettinger-Scranton. The Nighthawks head to the Betty sporting a 23-1 record and a 22-game win streak. It's also their first trip to state as a co-op. No team at state has been winning by a larger margin than Hettinger-Scranton, with an averaging point differential of 28 points. The Hawks are led by a terrific trio. Senior Abby Klute scored her 1,000th career point in the Region 7 championship. Junior Alyssa Andrus will soon be joining her in the 1,000-point club as she comes into state just 2 points shy. And then 6'1 sophomore Samantha Ose averages 15 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. Hettinger-Scranton emphasizes ball movement and says that is the key to their success, averaging 19 assists per game. Their opponent, the Region 8 champs from Trenton, have yet to suffer a loss at 25-0. I know a lot of these teams say defense is their strength, but the Tigers can actually claim that statistically, their defense is the best. They've held their opponent to 20 points or fewer 4 different times this season. Trenton doesn't have a single senior on its roster and no state tournament experience to speak of either. But they do have one of the best players in the state in 2-time All-State selection, Katie Hove, who does a little bit of everything for the Tigers even though she's just a junior. She's averaging 16 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 5 steals per game. How's that for being a complete player? Don't be alarmed when you see double. The St. Pierre twins, Alexa and Alyssa, have turned into big-time scorers for Bob Turcotte's team as well. This is another great matchup on paper, but I'm giving the edge to Hettinger-Scranton. It should be a fun week at the Betty. Enjoy all the hoops. We also have a lot going on in Class A with the region tournaments going on. We'll take a quick glance at the brackets. In the WDA boys bracket, Jamestown is the top seed and remains undefeated. The Blue Jays play Dickinson in the opening round on Thursday. I believe the Blue Jays will be one of the 4 teams to make state, but the next 3 could be interesting. Century and Minot play each other right away, so one of them will be heading to the losers bracket, and same with Mandan and Legacy. We're going to see some competitive, desperate basketball out in Bismarck. In the EDC, things got underway on Tuesday night, and we had a surprise in the quarterfinal round. Top seed Davies got 19 from Brayton Mochenbaker in the win over Shanley, so that wasn't the surprise. And Red River squeaked out a 1-point win over Wahpeton and will play the Eagles in the semis. West Fargo hit the century mark against North, and here's the surprise. The 6 seed Devils Lake upset Cheyenne 80-64. Grant Nelson led a balanced Firebirds attack with 20 points. We'll see if they can upset the Packers in the semis. Meanwhile, Cheyenne and North should be a great loser-out battle Friday night. On the girls' side, the West is Centuries to lose. I feel like you can almost slot the Patriots and Mandan in the West Region Final for Saturday, but I will say Williston played the Braves tough in both matchups of the regular season. This is also the time of year when Legacy starts to heat up, so watch out for those Sabres. They are the 3 seed. As for the East, top seed Devils Lake got back on track after suffering its only loss of the regular season in the final game of the regular season, 84-74 to Davies. The Firebirds beat Wahpeton in the quarterfinal round. The Firebirds get West Fargo on Thursday in the first semifinal after the Pack scored the minor upset over Red River. Shanley is into the semifinal with a win over Valley City, and it just wasn't a good night to be a Cheyenne fan. The Mustang girls got upset by the 6 seed Davies 64-52. Look out for the Eagles right now. Tim Jacobson's team is heating up at the perfect time. Senior Alyssa Paper scored a game-high 23 last night, so it'll be Eagles, Deacons in the semifinal round. We'll see if Cheyenne can keep its season alive in the loser-out game against Valley City. All right, we have a special Looking at You this week, and I'm pretty darn happy to be saying it. Jacob Petermann, I'm looking at you. The Wahpeton Husky basketball player that had the bottom half of his left leg amputated after discovering a cancerous tumor in it over a year ago took his first shot standing under his own power on Monday with his prosthetic. On his 3rd attempt, he swished it. Thanks to Noel Eckroth for the video. We profiled Jacob Sterney a few months ago on Midco Sports Magazine. Find that story on our YouTube page and watch it if you haven't. Congrats, Jacob. Keep shooting, buddy. Well, that wraps it up for this episode. A reminder, Class B region playoffs for boys basketball are underway too. We'll break down the championship matchups on next week's episode. Thanks for watching and enjoy tournament time.